Let's do it. I wonder if I can. Should I just sit on the couch? Golly.
You're so short, I can't believe people see you.
I thought people were going to be sitting on this couch and like.
It's kind of cool, ain't it?
Yeah. This venue is just awesome.
Okay, let's get started. Just a reminder, if you want to network some more later tonight, we're going to be joining Charles Gorman and his crew at the Kearns Food Hall. Somebody probably buy you a drink if you go. Just saying. Maybe me, maybe Charles, maybe somebody here. I don't know. Just we'll see. But anyway, we're going to continue to move on. So far, pretty good. Good information, right? Right. Good. So, guys, I'm not sure how old many of you are, how many of you lived here a long time, but this gentleman right here, I used to love watching this guy play basketball for UT. He's a beast. I mean, just, and the first time I met him, he's larger than life. We met at a conference last year. And I've always wanted to be able to bring him in and have him just do a speech for us or do some sort of, motivation for us. I was in his office not too long ago, and he explained a wealth strategy to me that was really cool. And they make it really simple. And I just like Jeronne. He's a good guy. I'd like to have him come up and speak to you guys today and just share what's on his heart today.
Let me fix this so y'all can hear me. I usually don't talk on mics. I usually just try to broadcast my voice. But I really am honored to be in this room, be in this space. And obviously, Vern has a lot of confidence in me to speak and share some things with you. I do wealth planning, and I think from my experience, it means different things to different people. And a lot of what I've become accustomed to learning is how to listen. And I think there's a lot of distractions day in, day out, especially as investors, entrepreneurs, moms, dads, families. You got to deal with things. But there has to be, I would assume, a method to the madness. A lot of times there's a method to the madness. I know a few people that can fly by the seat of their pants and still make things happen. Select few, the Adam Sandlers of the world, the Jim Carreys, those kind of people, they can do it. But then I get to a point where I'm faced with a lot of decisions. And I think one of the earlier speakers touched on it, the purpose that we kind of have on our lives. I would assume a lot of planning went into you guys getting here. Some people I did not know came from Canada. Some people came from down the street, but a lot of it is there was preparation and planning that led up to this moment of how you got here. And you're safe. All the while, we're sitting here. Some you may know, some you may not know, but there are people who are currently affected, currently missing, lonely, without power, unaccounted for. And imagine the opportunity that they're faced with. We're sitting in a room that has the AC kicking. I'm glad I wore a long sleeve because it is cold in here. But we're sitting in comfort right now. And we have an opportunity to contribute not only to our own self-development, but to the individuals that you're sitting next to. And I think that's a really fascinating opportunity because out of all the things that I would assume you guys have been faced with, I see young faces, I see some older faces. You've experienced a lot of life. And there was also a lot of opportunity attached to that experience that you had. And so far, you've overcome pretty much 100% of everything that you've been faced with. That's big. But we don't account, or we don't take into account the experience that we've garnered over this time. Some of you guys have 10, 20 properties. Some of you guys are getting your first one. Some of you guys have none and don't have interest in having them. You like being a part of a team that helps make you feel like you're a part of something bigger than yourself. And that's okay. But there are responsibilities with each and every level of it. And so today, I really didn't come to talk about wealth planning. Granted, it's an interpersonal conversation that we have to have at that level. It's more about what's important to you. I'll touch on a little bit on my philosophy and my process and how we can connect if it makes sense. But a lot of what I want to talk through today is really just the experience and the opportunity. So I want to move around. I don't want to carry this. The illustration, I didn't bring a lot of slides because, like I said, granted, when you talk about wealth planning, it's so many different levels we can go, so many different things we can talk about. The exciting stuff usually gets most of the spotlight, but I'm comprehensive. And I've experienced a lot of different seasons, no pun intended. I played a lot of sports. A lot of different seasons in my life that have brought me certain levels of experience. And when I was preparing for this conversation, I didn't know what I was going to tell y'all. I really didn't. I'm very excited when I get to speak because I have so much to share, but I want to make sure it makes sense for the people that's in the room. And so I asked my mom. My mom does a very good job of speaking. She's very sought after. She's a very good singer. And so people want her to be on stages. So I asked her, I said, what should I talk to these individuals about? She said, who are you talking to? I said, investors, entrepreneurs. She was like, well, what's important to them? I said, they want time freedom maybe, or they want more money. I don't really know what's important to them. She was like, well, figure out the similarities. I said, there's a lot of similarities. She said, really, there's only two that should stand out. Then the phone hung up. I thought she was playing with me. I thought, that's a dramatic effect. Did she hang up on purpose? But she didn't. The call dropped, but I called it back. I said, Mom, just give me the answer. So I got to do this in about 2 weeks. I want to make sure I'm prepared, all this great stuff. She said, no matter who they are, no matter what they've experienced, good, bad, or indifferent, they have two things in common. They should have a mind that they can think for themselves or they follow someone else. And they should have a heart that should be big enough to comprehend what you're saying. I said, that's big. And then the phone hung up again. I was like, okay, so now she's playing with me. So I prepared for this, and I wanted to really just give you guys some nuggets, some life gems from my perspective. Maybe they can change your perspective just a little bit. And so when you think about commonality between life experience and an opportunity that we still all have, because there's only about 3 months left in the year. It's crazy how fast this year has went. I feel like we were just here. But now the last quarter, the busiest time of the year is upon us. The most exciting months, for me at least, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, all this great stuff. Because I live here in Tennessee. I'm from up north. I'm here not alone because I've generated family. People become family over time, especially when you're intentional. Like, before we end, I want us to all take a moment just to be. Because what I do know about most business owners and people who are investing or trying to figure out, you on that computer, you on that phone, and you never really take a moment to be. And I think that's one of the biggest things that causes us to go into the next thing, holding on to whatever, distracted us or made us feel away prior. And then we go into the next step of life, and it may be not a business decision, but it may be a personal decision. So not only is business affected, but now your family's affected. And so when you think about the opportunity over the last 3 months, you're going to experience certain levels of pain. And I think that's where this title came from, because I kind of just thought of it. I thought it was kind of witty. But pain is a very important component to success. Where do you find pain? Most people only like pain when you can control it. And that's a weird relationship with, pain. Do I got any runners in the house? You might like to run. They're different. You can ask them about pain because there's something that they're doing it for. I don't like to run. Treadmill walk is even kind of mundane, but running for the external and maybe internal purposes that comes from it is why they do it. Do I have any lifters in the house? Do anybody lift weights? Yeah. My guy. If he ever done leg day, I know most people only like arms, but leg day really makes you realize what pain is. And you're like, golly, but it's a purpose for it. And so when you understand how pain induces purpose, you're willing to go through it, but only if you can control it. And I think putting it in perspective of how you view pain or the context that pain has on your life, once you frame it, you're able to utilize it to be better. And I think when it comes to how my life has progressed, I've had the opportunity to be in a lot of different places, lived across the world, living in multitude of countries, seen a lot of different states, interacted with a lot of different people. And I've always had the opportunity to experience life But then there was certain things that hindered me from moving forward in experience life because whether it was my upbringing, whether it was the psychological concepts that I developed through things that made me, second guess my own confidence, certain things, and through your childhood, we all have those experiences that puts a wall in front of you. But what is pain? Pain allows you to grow up and develop a purpose. And it's not something that you can just flip a switch and say, okay, I'm cool with it. You got to do the actual self-development and the healing to go through what that pain was trying to teach you. There's a lesson in a lot of it, but most people, we can't formulate why that pain happened to us. It's like a why me type deal. But how is resilience, what component does resilience play in where you guys are today? Because I'm sure if you didn't experience certain levels of pain, you wouldn't be who you are. I think pain is necessary. You don't find pain in intelligence. It just doesn't happen. You find pain in going through hardships with people that's been broken down and they found a way to rebuild themselves. And then you get to a point where there's a psychological advantage to pain. That's the difference. Once you get the psychological advantage to pain, you're able to walk in rooms and then your influence speaks volumes. You may not look like what you went through, but they understood, oh, the trajectory of what this person, and it may be someone on an interpersonal level that people know behind closed doors, but there's always things that's external that people could say, oh, I've seen you've been battle tested and you stood the test of time. I'm proud of you. So now you're able to cultivate certain things by just doing what you normally would do, but facing the pain. And I think planning is a unique aspect of what I get the opportunity to do. I got a chance to be on draft boards my junior year here at the University of Tennessee. I had a great time. I thought I'd be playing in the league. It was one of those things where I was never injured until I got injured. And I didn't know what that kind of pain was because it was loneliness attached to that kind of pain. Because so long people were, they would flock to me to do things for me, whether it was for my benefit or for their benefit, they were willing to help. And that's how most people are in the investor space. They want to make sure that if it makes their pockets or it benefits them, they're going to do it, regardless if it's something that benefits you or not. And I think once I got injured, I realized the opposite of that. There was no longer a need for the things that I could contribute to. And so I had a really weird relationship, not only with myself and my confidence, but with the people who I thought had my back. And a lot of it is, once you realize those things, you have to compartmentalize it in the right fashion. You can look at it as a negative. That was a benefit because it motivated me to move in a different light. Whatever that was, good, bad, or indifferent. I think the funny part about life is you're going to continue to go through stages. The stages you guys are in right now is probably the accumulation phase. You're grabbing as much as you can, accumulating as much as you can. You're trying to figure it out. But what I realized, I get a chance to connect with people who are on levels that I aspire to be. I've been doing planning for a little bit over 4 years, and I got a lot of great clients. I got people who invest. I got people who are athletes, people who are teachers, mothers, single fathers that just went through divorce. All these great things, they're all going through different things, but they're all still trying to figure it out. And one thing I know is nobody knows what they're doing. Believe it or not, I got people who are making tons of discretionary money, meaning money that they can just sitting on and just trying to figure what to do with it. Then I got people who are living paycheck to paycheck that make tons of money, but they don't have a good stewardship with money. And so a lot of the planning that we have to talk through is really proactive. How can we be proactive in your approach to what you're doing? But a lot of times it doesn't make sense to plan for things that we know are inevitable. We usually like to plan on the surface, and that's okay until life happens. And one thing that I do know about my experience is that life will happen. Unfortunately enough for us, we're the ones who they happen to. And how you frame that is how that opportunity will either reveal itself or be smothered, because opportunity is in everything. It's in chaos. It's in the good times. It's in this room because the individuals you're sitting next to, regardless if you know them or not, they could be the next individual that helps you move from one level to the next. And it may only be for a season that you operate with them, and that's not a bad thing. But you have to be intentional, and it has to be some kind of planning along with that. And so I'll stop drawing it out. The last couple of things I'll leave you guys with is there are people today occupying the same time and space, maybe not in this room, maybe family members, friends that are making plans for Friday. I got plans on Thursday. Teddy Swims concert. If you guys will be there, let's have a good time. But there are people making plans today for next week's lunch, to sign on the first rental property, close on their last, whatever it is, that won't get the opportunity to go home. It's unique that the opportunity that we have is currently present because everything else has yet to happen. So there's a concept that you have that you can choose to do what you will. And most of you guys are entrepreneurs or business owners or self-employed. There has to be intentionality behind what you do because no one else, like an employer, will do it for you. And a lot of you may be head of household, may just have a spouse, whatever it is, there has to be intentionality with the conversations that you have because what I do know about most business owners that are successful, they're on to the next. They're on to the next. And the wife may be a part of the business or she's not, or your support group may be a part of the business or they're not, but there's no cohesive communication between how it all functions, how it all operates, and what it's going to look like if and when I don't come home. And the funny thing is about it is I say if, but most people say if I die. I want to laugh at those comments, but they're serious when they say that. Well, if I die, it'll make sense to have the conversation. Well, it's inevitable. So the accumulation of what you're doing all matters if there's a method to the madness, if you've planned to transition the wealth that you've accumulated. If there's no plan for it, if that's your retirement, awesome. But a lot of it is, are we planning for the inevitable? Thank you. That was good. I like that.